Hello. Just had a few requests to do some more hand conditioning videos. So I'm going to look at shutō uchi in Japanese. Shutō uchi, yeah, which is the knife hand strike. See, it's the judo chop. It used to be called in films, and yeah, the commando chop is one taught in the back of the neck and all that. Striking part, somewhat the main part that's used is here, but it can be the little finger, can be the bone there. Shutō, I think in Japanese. I can't remember what the name of it is in English. I've looked at it before. This is the part, and to condition it, get yourself one of these, like a rock or a brick or something simple as that. The thing I really try and do with these things is I don't use any special equipment. I've got access to a dojo at the temple, but as much as possible I just try and just to show how you can do, like, I don't know what we call it, everyday karate, urban karate, or whatever it is in the style you do. But the conditioning and stuff, a lot of it you can just use stuff you find lying around like this, and that hours of fun. But I mean, you can do it while watching TV. You can have one. I think I read somewhere Bruce Lee used to have one in his car. So if he was caught in traffic, do that. Yeah, this thing about, I think his wife Linda Lee said it was the closest thing she'd ever seen to perpetual motion. He was always doing some sort of training, and that's the thing I like. It used to be when I went to the dojo, it was like, I trained from this time to that time, and then I wasn't doing anything else. But now I try and do, little and often, basically. I mean, this is something you can do. I was thinking, like, this is something I can do. I'm lucky where I work at the temple. I work at a Buddhist temple in Nagasaki. I'm like a groundsman. So there's just loads of stone and stuff lying around. It's been great. Very interesting the last 2 years as I get into tamashiwari or breaking. But I mean, I'll be gardening, cutting a bush. I take a break. I can hit my hand against a tree trunk or whatever, stuff like that. Just always thinking what you can do. You can do that. Anyway, back to the knife hand strike. Sorry, this might be a bit of a scatty video. I've just had my annual health check, and for some reason they took about 4 pints of blood from me, so I'm feeling a bit lightheaded. This doesn't make sense. Just that. You're going to find you've got sharp edges on it, and what you will find is over time they get smooth. Yeah, and when you've kind of, this bit's still a bit sharp here. When everything's smooth, you've rounded it off, it's time to move to another rock. Just goes on. But you can, these are great. And this is about knife hand conditioning, but you can not look too mental, but you can use it for skull forward conditioning. You can do forearms, you can stick it into your gut, you can do your shins, you can do side of the leg, side of the thigh or the thighs. Also side of the foot. Before I did the knife, I forget what's called in Japanese now, but the knife, or knife hand, knife foot. So you can actually hit the side of your foot with this thing. Obviously taking care if you're just starting out. But the great thing about this thing is, I mean, I used to regularly, when I was starting out, it would get bruised and a bit swollen and stuff. But I think it is one of the Gracies, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. I don't know so much about that sort of thing, but he always advocates, I think it's one of the ones that are around today still, and he advocates striking knife hand strikes much more than with a closed fist, because you got, no matter how conditioned you get your fist, it's still little bones and stuff, and you can really muck yourself up by breaking things and stuff. Whereas here, this can actually, it can take a lot, and even if you damage it or hurt it, it will cover. You can push it a bit, basically. Whereas with knuckle conditioning, you've got to be really sort of slow and steady. Well, you should be slow and steady with this, but it does take a bit more. It's almost like it's been designed by nature. You just got to make it harder, so this is a bit calloused. So last night I was doing this hand, because I'm right-handed, basically. I don't neglect this hand, but I do this hand more. It's just I did this one really until I couldn't do any more. It was really like just sore. But these strikes, I don't know, must be, I mean, these open-handed strikes, again, I don't know as much about it, MMA and stuff, but they're banned. They must be banned. And then way back in the day when I was doing karate, I was sparring with this old black belt guy. Well, he seemed old to me then, he's probably like 50 or something. But I don't know, I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. Still don't. But, you know, I did that or something. He went, no open-handed strikes, I'll break your fingers. You know, which, all right, mate, well done. But so it's obviously, you know, deeply frowned upon. Yeah, but for me, I just do them because I like breaking. And that, I just almost mentioned this point is, on the other videos I've done, I've had some comments about like these. And people are saying, oh, you know, that's really stupid and you're going to damage yourself and stuff. It's rough skin, it's a callus. Same as if you put on your shoe and it rubs against the part, you just get rough skin. Even if I didn't have these, if you're doing conditioning, traditional, well, in my case, karate, your background, traditional karate, you're going to get like, your knuckles are going to get bigger and calcified. They might even masayama, like they fuse together. And I've seen karate guys that don't have these, but their knuckles are fused together, or they're just huge. So, you know, if you're doing like, if someone's doing sports karate or something more like maybe concentrate on kata or something, great each time, brilliant. But you know, proper conditioning, you do run a chance of getting stuff like this. Like I said, I think I just got weak skin, so I'm getting these. I haven't got these like deliberately, like to look cute or something. I just, you know, they've just happened. So yeah, they don't affect me on any way. I mean, I play the guitar and stuff, so far so good. But you do, you know, same as if you do judo, not to go on about this, but if you do judo and stuff, you probably get like cauliflower ears. I mean, it's just stuff that happens naturally. It's the body adjusting to stress, you know, physical stress, wear and tear, protecting itself. It's far better to have these than you don't have them, and you know, you break a knuckle or something because you're not conditioned properly. I mean, I have fractured my left hand. Luckily, eventually healed, but for a couple of years afterwards, it was a good way of knowing when it was going to rain. I broke it on a makiwara by not being conditioned enough and going overboard on, which is a punching board, on a karate, not being conditioned enough, so I broke it. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just into conditioning. Another thing that's been said is like, well, some people say it like, you know, they say it sensibly. They say, you know, it's not the be all and end all, iron hand or body conditioning. You should concentrate on stuff like being faster and stuff, but it's always with this thing that, you know, for fighting, for me personally, for all that it matters, but I don't care about any of that sort of stuff. I'm not looking to do it, hopefully, you know, in or out of a dojo, certainly not out of a dojo, but even in a dojo sparring or whatever, I like breaking. So I'm just interested to see how far, at the age of nearly 45, it's an interesting journey for me, how far I can, you know, what sort of stuff I can break. I mean, this was a long stone thing that I broke. So, but you can see there that it's in layers. I don't know what the geological term is, stratas or something. So it's not quite like super dense stone to break. But anyway, you know, so it's like my strange hobby. I don't know why I'm into it, but I am. So it's not, that's the end. That's the reason for me doing it. It's not, you know, anything else. But the only thing I find a bit much is when people who don't do it and they rubbish it and they make it, everyone does it, is like, there's one guy on YouTube, he runs quite a successful channel, but he's always like, you know, Neanderthals smashing their hands into walls and stuff, you know, yeah, really good. You know, well, no, people aren't actually doing that. You know, you do it slowly and carefully and whatever. You know, if someone doesn't want to do it, fair enough, but don't pour scorn on people that do, because it's just idiotic. You see proper Knifehand Okinawan guys in their 70s and 80s that are fully conditioned and stuff, and they play the flute or the shamisen or something. So, you know, it's like, I think it's a fox with no tail. You know, if you're not doing it, certainly there's dangers to it, conditioning, but if it's done sensibly and carefully and stuff, then it's not, people don't go up and hit a brick wall as hard as they can, you know, and stuff. That's just stupid. If you're doing it, then that's very unfortunate, but most people actually aren't. Anyway, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, so that's basically Knifehand conditioning and a bit of stuff on conditioning in general, but basically just try and do it whenever you can. Like, yeah, till it hurts. Don't, as always, just don't. I always want to be just a bit on the side of discomfort. but not so it starts to really hurt, because that's just silly. But if you're in discomfort zone, you know, you're pushing it a bit, and then back off. Go and do some press up, go and do something else, or condition your shins. There's always something you can do, even, you know, if one of your arms is broken, God forbid, but if you have an accident or something, you can still train. There's still stuff you can do. If you have both legs broken, there's still stuff you can do. So yeah, but anyway, a bit of knife hand conditioning stuff there. Sorry, I went off on one a bit there, but cheers.